Hey, it's syndicated radio talk show host, author, singer Al Cole, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. I come from CBS Radio. My shows are nationally syndicated, and I've helped pave the way to treating women, guys too, with the dignity that they deserve. And I do that through my show, People of Distinction. Oh, boy, you got to treat people with dignity in order to be treated back with dignity. And that's what People of Distinction is all about. I'll tell you, we are all people of distinction, part of a human family. And if we learn to treat other people the way that we would really like to be treated, and of course, that's kind of like the golden rule, isn't it, people? Well, we have a better world that way. And even through some of the difficult times, like maybe now, coronavirus, all of that, actually, we need each other even more than ever in this world. We really do. We've got to rely on each other now, even with social distancing. But that doesn't mean mental distancing. It doesn't mean heart and soul distancing. No. What I'm talking about right now is written in the book. And, you know, I'm going to be talking about a specific book here, and a lot of you people are going to profit from this book, too, because it's written by a prophet. And her name is Eva Fulton, a wonderful lady, a veteran, and we love to have veterans on People of Distinction, recounting some of their service to this country and to our human family. Now, she's going to be talking about her wonderful book, Welcome to My People Garden. And when she talks about her people garden, well, I know what she's talking about because she uses the term people. People of distinction she's talking about. Now, what she means by a people garden, everybody has networked sometime in this world, you know, relationships. Well, we reach out to other people, sometimes the intimate relationships, others, you know, friendships and casual acquaintances, and sometimes just people that we don't know too well, maybe business associates, whatever. We form relationships in this world, and as we do, well, boy, we grow. And it's like that garden, you know, you nurture that garden, wow, it grows. And as it grows, you're looking at it and say, wow, did I create that? Look at all those plums, look at all those tomatoes, look at this, look at that. And see, what's behind it all is a universal spiritual force. Whatever got us here in the first place. A lot of times we say, God, you know. So when we're growing that garden, we know that we don't have the ability, really, to manufacture those potatoes or those tomatoes or those anything that is in that garden. It was created, but we're the overseers of it at that time. We're creating something that was already there anyway, and we're nurturing it and making it the very best that it can be. Same with people. You know, you don't create somebody's life unless they're your child. But the people that you're dealing with, it's not like you created them. But now you're creating that special relationship with them. Get it, people? I know you get it. Because you're people of distinction. And that's what Eva's going to be talking about in her wonderful interview here with my son, Benji Cole. He's a great interviewer, and boy, he's going to be carrying it on. Welcome to my garden, and a look at relationships here. You know, a look at relationships through the perspective of the parable of the sower. What does that mean? Well, maybe the sower is God. Eva is a very spiritual lady, so we're going to be putting a lot of heart and soul into it, spiritual connections to life, things along that line. And I want you to order this book, Welcome to My People Garden, at Amazon.com, also Barnes & Noble. And you can run to Eva's website to learn more and order the book there too. Go to evafulton.com. And I will say she was brought to People of Distinction by a great publishing firm, called UR Link. And they're one of the best movers in the business. You got a book, you got to move. Well, you got to move it through UR Link. Go to their website, urlinkpublishing.com. And I'm going to welcome my son onto People of Distinction right now, and then he's going to welcome Eva, and he's going to conduct the interview. Welcome, Benji Cole, here to People of Distinction. How you doing, son?
I'm doing well, Dad. Thank you very much for having me on here.
My pleasure. And yeah, you're the best out there with interviews. Well, maybe the second best, or one of the two best in the whole business. And we love
The
that.
apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
We love it. And that's a people garden right there. Whoa, this is great. Take it over, Benji, and introduce Eva to our show, People of Distinction, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, again, we have Eva Fulton on the line with us, and we're going to be talking about Welcome to My People Garden. Eva, first and foremost, thank you very much for being a guest on People of Distinction. How are you today?
I'm blessed. Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm very honored.
Absolutely. Well, the honor is all ours, for sure, Eva. So let's just jump right in, because I'm sure after that immaculate introduction, our audience cannot wait to hear more about this book. So tell us a little bit about it, Eva.
So Welcome to My People Garden took me about 10 years to work on. It was really kind of something that I thought about writing a book many, many years ago, but this was one of those working progress where I had to work on me in order to be able to write it and just live through some things that God, I think, wanted to show me on how to live through certain issues, things that were going on in my life. I had some marriage problems going on and with my husband, and he, ended up going through some medical problems and ended up passing away back in 2015. So this was one of those things where I really focused on what was the parable of the sower supposed to show me. I felt really called to it on not everybody gets the parable of the sower. It is something that people think, well, it's about the ground itself, but you have to think we're talking about the ground. But the parable of the sower really is a reflection of you and what ground type you are. So people talk about sowing seeds and how is your garden going to grow? But seeds can't grow in any type of ground soil. So if you're not working through that ground soil, everybody sees your front yard, but who sees your backyard? So if you're not working through the backyard to clear out all of those corrupted, it's working through the weeds and the rocks and the vines, which I call lies. If you're not working through those things, then you're not going to end up with a ground soil where you can actually grow your garden.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Well, first and foremost, Eva, our condolences, of course, to your husband passing. Now, with this book, it sounds like it's more a self-care kind of narrative. Now, what was the inspiration behind creating this book?
The inspiration, I think, really was just the people that I had been talking to, really my classmates when I was going through my master's program, and said, Eva, people need to hear you. You need to write this. You sound like, Max Lucado, and only you're a female version. So we need to hear what you are saying about going through this garden experience, because other people need to know that they can work on their backyard too.
What I love about the title of the book, Welcome to My People Garden. I mean, that's such a creative and a unique title that right off the bat creates a very specific image in one's mind. So where was the inspiration and how did you develop that particular title? I'm just curious for my own self.
So it really is kind of like, when you're meeting people and you're always doing a handshake, but you want to cross over that barrier of, I've got a name and a phone number, and maybe I've got a business card, but this takes the next step and says, I want to grow a relationship with that person.
Nice. Yeah. So it's kind of like, again, for me, when I was doing the research, right off the bat, the first image that came to my head is harvesting relationships that way, right? You're thinking, you actually visually see the garden and the relationships forming there. And I just thought it was a very creative approach to a very similar concept, of course, that we talk about here at People of Distinction all the time, and really connecting with our human family that way. And once again, guys, we're on the line with Eva Fulton talking about Welcome to My People Garden, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, and actually an audiobook just completed that way, and it will be available shortly through Audible. And Eva, next question that I really want to ask. Now, you kind of touched up on it, talking about the inspiration and your friends really pushing you along, and how this initially started really more so with things that you had been going through in your own life. Why did you feel that this book had to be written and wasn't really just something that remained in kind of like a diary format, really just for yourself? Why did you feel that it was going to be applicable to our human family that way, and more people needed to know about this?
I know this is going to sound weird to some people, but I really felt like it was coming from God talking to me and saying, you've got to write this book. And it needs to have 12 chapters because I have 12 disciples. And, I even contemplated, okay, so when my publisher, Westbow Press, asked me, what are you going to put on the, cover, I had no idea. I didn't want it to be simple. But I was going through, so I'm a chaplain with Women Veterans of America here in Denton, and I was going through an art therapy class trying to help some other my colleagues, my women veteran sisters, and we were supposed to make these masks. And I kept looking on Pinterest, thinking it needs to look like something else that somebody already created. And here I am, trying to finish up the book to get it published, and once again, God kind of popped in my ear and said, "No, I want you to do it to something that looks like me." So I'll tell you, if you don't mind, what does the cover mean? So the mask itself is a replication of God. He wants us to see that we are made in His image, and we're all different colors and shapes and sizes. We're perfectly imperfect, and we are a reflection of Him. I am the author. So, and I'm a veteran, so you can see the red, white, and blue eyes, and the ribbon on the ground is kind of a loose shape of the state of Texas, because that's where I'm from. But the flowers is where we're supposed to go forth and prosper. We're supposed to grow our relationships interconnectedly with Him, with others, and to grow our relationships in His image. Wow.
What I loved so much about hearing you talk, I mean, it's so profound. What I always find fascinating, being an artist myself, I love hearing and understanding really where that creative inspiration comes from for different artists. I'm
not artistic by any means. Not in that way. I don't ever think that was my first artsy kind of thing to do. So.
Well, here's the beautiful thing in terms of my interpretation of art, Eva, is that art is, I know it's a cliche, right? And art is in the eye of the beholder that way. And there are many different art forms, okay? So the art that I particularly do is vastly different from the art that my father does. I mean, he's a musician, I'm an actor, two completely different mediums that way. But, in creating and writing stories, that is in itself an art form. So whether you want to consider yourself an artist in the more generic sense or not, I definitely consider you to be an artist, because what you're bringing to our table today here at People of Distinction is art. It is beautiful that way.
And I'm learning to own that, learning to own that one.
Absolutely. But yeah, hearing you go through and how the inspiration came and why you felt the story needed to be told, and your description on how you developed the cover for the book, I mean, is absolutely fascinating. And that's always a question that I'd love to ask, really more so for myself, again, being an artist there. But thank you very much for that.
I took a picture in my front yard, too, so I was really proud of my yard. My front yard looks good. And we always have things we look on the backyard, but,
No,
anyways.
absolutely. Well, it's fantastic that made it onto the cover there, right? Or at least created the inspiration for it.
Right.
So, perfect.
Yeah.
Even next question that I have for you is, we're going through and we're talking about this book. What is one thing that you really want our audience here at People of Distinction to be able to pull from this interview that they just have to know about Welcome to My People Garden?
It's one of those things that even your dad mentions on his video about the chapel, that you have to love who you are. And it's not about loving who you were. You can't change the past, but you can work on who you are right now, which affects the future. And when you have that working relationship with who you are, loving who you are, and that's in 1 Corinthians 13:13, that your relationship with him, with God, is going to strengthen, because then you're getting into the sync with him, so that your outward relationships with other people are going to work better. And, I'm just really inspired by all the things that we're seeing in social media going through this pandemic, that people are reaching out of their comfort zone and they're making masks, they're paying for somebody's groceries, they're sharing toilet paper rolls because they couldn't find any at the grocery store. All of these neat stories, these are people gardening stories. Because in that one little moment, you had somebody who was feeling desperate for some reason, right? Because they don't have a job right now. But you had the next person behind them pick up the slack, and it made a difference. And you gave a smile, and you gave something charitable. And everybody's, the Bible says charity begins at home. But when you have that relationship right, that love relationship with who you are right now, that charity, that love with other people is going to sink, and it is going to flourish. Your produce is going to grow like no tomorrow. It's just, you're going to have so much love. People talk about their love cup being half full. Why do you wait for your cup to just be half full and think that that's okay? When it is overflowing, then it's overflowing, because God put it there. He gave you enough love for that cup to overflow to share with other people. That's the goal.
Wonderfully put. Eva, thank you so much. Guys, again, here on People of Distinction, Eva Fulton, Welcome to My People Garden, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Guys, it's wonderful hearing you talk, and this is, again, such a message that is applicable to our everyday human family, Eva, and everything that we're going through right now. And, you're talking about these videos that you've seen where people are going out of their way to help others in need, because let's face it, so much of our human family is in need at this moment, and this is such an amazing book to kind of really help and reiterate that message. So thank you so much for bringing that to our table. But guys,
Thank you.
Of course, but that's not it, right? There's more. I mean, we finished discussing Welcome to My People Garden, but Eva has so much more to offer us here. Not only has she mentioned this a few times here during this interview about how she is a woman veteran that way, but she has also created a veteran-based short film called Community Response to Women Veterans Homelessness. Now, Eva, talk to us a little bit about that short film and that creation.
So a friend of mine owns she's not a woman veteran, but she's a Gold Star wife. And Carrie Ann is working on she's working on these mini houses on her farm to house women veterans who are homeless. They need that, they need some place that's safe to go. We have about 2 million women veterans here in the country, And the numbers show that about 10% of those end up in probably some near homelessness or actually homeless situations. And typically they're going to have children in tow. We have worked with women who were living in their vehicles with children, and not only are some of them with children, but they're actually pregnant, like due any day. And, you know, we have a situation where a lot of women veterans don't even realize, one, that they are veterans. And nobody told them that, hey, when you get out of the military, you're now a veteran. You qualify for benefits. Or when they got out, they missed some of that connection to getting tied in with the VA to get some help. And, you know, the civilian world is really, it's a culture adjustment compared to what we have in the military. And when we get out, we don't understand the community has some things that are available, you know, to help, but the wraparound services that we're used to in the military are labeled differently, and you don't know necessarily that your next door neighbor could be a woman veteran, because everybody is used to lumping us in, maybe at best, with the auxiliary, which is the spousal side of many of the veteran service organizations like VFW and DAV and American Legion. They really think of women as auxiliary members, which is for spouses. You may have some women veterans who were in the military, got out and became a spouse or was a spouse of a man who was served in the military. But it's really giving yourself the credit, the woman understanding that she's a veteran, she has her own set of benefits, and being able to get that assistance.
Of course. So much valuable information here. Beautiful. And also, you've written another book called Brave Women Serve, correct? Or you're in the process of creating that one?
So that's a series of webcasts that we just did in March for Women's History Month. And this was really about showcasing women veterans who were in the military and starting way before World War I that really supported the suffrage movement because we were actually the ones that helped complete that quote-unquote whole person concept in order to have the right to vote with the 19th Amendment.
Wonderful. Now, that just to make sure that I'm correct in this, Eva, Community Response to Women Vet Homelessness and also Brave Women Serve, are each of those available on evafulton.com?
Yes.
Great. Well, there you have it, guys. You can also find not only Welcome to My People Garden, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, an audiobook available shortly on Audible, but you can also find more work from her on her personal website, evafulton.com. Eva, thank you so much for being a guest on People of Distinction today. Again, we truly appreciate everything you've been able to bring to our table.
Thank you. My honor. And to you and your dad, welcome to My People Garden.
Well, look. Hey, welcome to People of Distinction again, Eva. And My People Garden, People of Distinction. This is Al Cole coming in at the end of another great interview. And I'm going to make a reflection here, kind of similar to what I made in the beginning, because Eva is a real person of distinction. It's easy to talk about her book and what she does. And I'm just going to give it another minute or two to just recap some of this stuff. In Welcome to My People Garden. Everybody has a people garden within. Now, we're talking about consciousness here. Yeah. That's right. We're talking about the inner working of who we were when, we were just babies. That baby is probably the most epitomal and exponential aspect of who we actually are. Because when that baby comes out, and we were all babies, people, this goes out to you, my listening audience, my people of distinction, you were born with that innocence of love within. That's one of the messages here, and Welcome to My People Garden. You can't have a people garden that is nurturing all of our human family without love. And you know that some of the grandmothers out there, mothers, when it comes down to Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the holidays, when we make that special meal, and people are always saying, "Wow, boy, I put the same ingredients together. I'm using your recipe, Mom or Grandma, and yet yours comes out better, tastes better, everything." Well, she's putting a little bit more love into it. She's been doing it for years and years, nurturing her family. Now we're talking about the human family. So, see, that's the whole purpose of life, people. That beautiful baby within you that wants to contribute to life and saying, "Wow, I'm here, I made it, I'm alive." And everybody else is too. See, that's what we have in common. We're all born. We're all babies right now. We're all human beings. We're all adults. We're everything because we have a heart and we have a soul. And using that heart and soul to the benefit not only of us, but more especially to the benefit of others in our human family. Help to develop their garden. Yeah, not only our own people garden, but other people's garden. And as we do that, we're saying, "Hey, I relate. I'm on your team." That's what we need, more and more people, to be on each other's team, to help nurture each other's people garden, because everybody has that beautiful aspect within where they really want the best out of life and to give the best out of life. And to do that, it needs love and attention, and that special care that you're going to find in Eva's book, Welcome to My People Garden. And it's available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and especially running to her website, evafulton.com. So, Eva, this has really been my pleasure and my son Benji's pleasure, having you as our special spotlight guest today on People of Distinction with Al Cole. And this section was brought to you, my listening audience, by UR Link. UR Link Publishing, one of the best in the publishing world. Move your books with urlinkpublishing.com. Thank you again, Eva. This has been my pleasure, Benji's pleasure as well. We wish you all the best with your book and all of your life directions, Eva.
Thank you so much. This was a great interview, and I think a great connection with your messaging and what I'm doing. I appreciate getting the interview with you. I really, am honored to be on your show, so thank you so kindly.